around the national setup, obviously. Not playing a lot of short form cricket at the moment, but it must be good to be back around the guys and kind of getting ready for that first test.
Yeah, look, it doesn't feel too different. We've had a pretty packed schedule up until now, just with domestic stuff with Queensland. There's been a lot of cricket everywhere, whether it's international or domestically. So, no, not too different. We were just down here in Perth a couple of weeks ago playing against WA, so business as usual.
You played on that Wacker pitch. Are you expecting it to be sort of similar to that? Or?
Yes and no. Yes, because that wicket was actually pretty good. It was fast. It was a little bit soft when we played the Wackers. It divvied it up a little bit, but it was a cool, fast wicket that we haven't had in WA for a long time, really. But, the last time we played here in Perth, that was a tricky wicket for batting. They had cracks all the way through it. No one was really comfortable. We won. That was the main thing. So at the end of the day, I don't really care what the wicket's like. As long as we're on the right end of the ledger, that's the most important thing.
And have you been preparing for the pace of Joseph?
That's international cricket. That's first-class cricket. It doesn't really make a difference. There's always fast bowlers. I mean, we had Woody out here last year. You have Joseph. They have their fast bowlers. We have our fast bowlers. That's just international cricket.
You mentioned before you can't take from these matches easily, no matter what the opposition is. Can you tell us elaborate a bit more on what you expect?
Well, that's the thing, because they have a little bit of inexperience in their team, and people can sometimes take that as, for some reason that we're going to win really easily or we're better. And it's kind of frustrating at times, because when you do play, I've never really played a test match that's been easy. I've never played a test match that's been easy. So when we do win any game, it's always a lot of hard work. It normally takes 3, 4, 5 days to win a test match. So for us, it's just about making sure that we're repeating the process over and over again. Doesn't matter who we're playing against, because that's what the best teams do. And we got a lot of cricket coming up in the future, and we want to make sure that we're in good sort of routines for the whole year long.
Does that actually put more pressure on you then, in a way?
Not really, no. Not really. No, we're the Australian cricket team. We're always expected to win.
Was he been batting at number 4 for Queensland? The Aussie Test opener, presumably the opening on Wednesday. Can you kind of explain why that's the case?
I mean, does it really matter?
You tell me.
I don't think so. David Warner hasn't played a red ball game in 6 months. Why isn't anyone talking about that?
Yeah, but,
I'm asking you.
Yeah, so as far as you're concerned, it's an easy one to just go back and face the new ball.
Yeah, I mean, my point exactly. With a lot of players have played white ball cricket and haven't played red ball cricket, so yeah, it doesn't make a difference either way.
Would you prefer to be opening?
Opening where?
For Queensland.
I make the batting order. I can bat wherever I want. What are you talking about? I just do whatever's best for the team in Queensland. I told that to Andrew McDonald, whatever the team line. We had about 7 openers in Queensland, so it's just the way it worked out with the batting list. Doesn't really matter to me. I've batted 3 my whole life, which pretty much been opening. And I'm out there in the first 5 overs a lot, so I faced a new ball my whole career.
I feel like a lot of other people would probably say different like that, rather than face the new ball all the time, right? If they're preparing for a test series, like, is that something that's come with experience for you, or have you kind of just always been wired that way?
I mean, I do face a new ball in one-day cricket. I get plenty of exposure to it. Yeah, it doesn't make a difference.
How do you feel when you hear your opening partner, David Warner, talk about his future and potentially how long he's got left at Test cricket?
Davey's a very cagey man. I'd always take what he says with a grain of salt. So, I love Davey. I'm sure he's got plenty of cricket left in him. I don't know what the whole future holds for him, for me, for anyone. That's just anyone. So, I don't really take too much into it, to be honest.
Was he obviously it's been out for the last couple of days that West Indies take a knee for a Test series. Aussie team will do that in solidarity with them. Can you just sort of talk through that and I suppose the thinking behind that and the process to do it?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a very individual team sort of thing. So, I mean, there's not really much to be said. I think we've dealt with this topic and issues for a long time. Obviously, I'm a big multicultural and inclusivity ambassador here in Australia. So for me, I'm very open to all sorts of ways where we can have conversations and talk about things. So for me, yeah, it's not really too much to say.
Well, good. India, when you think about India and England, a couple of those two next year, I mean, is that something you'd like to get to with contribution for the team long term? Have you kind of talked about that with him in terms of potentially making those steps?
Obviously, the thoughts and processes are in the head. There's a lot of cricket coming up before then, though. So, they're around, but we've got 5 test matches here in Australia. That's the most important thing, first and foremost. As I said, we're not taking any test series lightly. Yes, playing India in India is a massive series for Australian cricket. We all know that. Ashes is a massive series for Australian cricket, but we're playing a series right now in Australia in front of our home fans. Our responsibility is here right now, so I think that's the most important thing.
And just one, I know Davey was being asked before about, he's got his 100th test match coming up. I mean, obviously you guys are similar ages, but that is one big difference between the number of test matches you have played. Does that leave you feeling more like, there's a lot more that you still want to play and experience on that level?
Yeah, I probably said this. I think last week I was interviewed, I said the same thing. I debuted before David Warner, and he's played double the amount of test matches from me. Bloody selectors keep dropping me. So, so it has left me. I guess to some extent there is a grind of test cricket. And he's played 100 test matches, countless one days, and he's been on the grind for a very long time, where I've been in and out of the grind a little bit. I've probably got a little bit of a refresher the last couple of years when I was out. So, yeah, I guess it makes me a little bit more refreshed mentally. But at the end of the day, we're competitive beasts. We want to be out there. We want to be competing. That's the most important thing.
Do you put any extra pressure on yourself with a lot of other good openers around the country making runs? Obviously, your Queensland teammate Matty Renshaw scored a North 100 last week.
Not really. I've scored a lot of runs for a long time. So, consistency is the key. I'm enjoying my cricket. It doesn't really matter what anyone else does. I worry about my own journey, what I can do for the team and how I can help it. The rest doesn't really matter to me.
It's nice to be out there with the kids with Davey, given you guys are around playing.
Yeah, and we grew up in, my parents first immigrated to Australia. We were in a little 2-bedroom apartment in the eastern suburbs, and Davey, obviously family, down in Maroubra, and also a very, very tiny place. So the beach is very much close to our hearts. I ended up playing for Randwick. He ended up playing for eastern suburbs, and now he does play for Randwick. So, yeah, there's a lot of good memories for us as kids and around the beach and being around this. So, yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Good.